Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from the Adolescence channel. Welcome back to another video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And in today's episode, I think I could have potentially found one of the nicest vanilla resinous benzoin fragrances that I've come across. I'm excited to tell you about this one. It's called Vanille Benjoin from the house of Affinessence. Stay tuned. So this fragrance came out in 2015, so yes, truth be told, I am a few years late to the party. The perfumer for this one is Corinne Cachin. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that name. If I am, I do apologize. And I do have a little bit of experience with the brand. I've actually smelled a couple courtesy of my good friend Joe from the channel Joe Sent Me. So he actually came here right around this time, almost a year ago, and then he had me try a few other offerings from the house. We actually reviewed one together, so I'm going to leave a link to that down below if you're interested in checking it out and seeing my opinion on it. Today, though, we're going to be focusing on Vanille Benjoin. So this is a really interesting composition. It does utilize a lot of natural ingredients, and this is a house that makes fragrances that are comprised primarily of base notes. So what does that mean? When you do spray it on skin, the way that it's going to smell in the opening is the same exact way that it's going to smell 3, 4, 5 hours into the dry down. So for those of you who don't know, base notes are typically at the bottom of the perfume pyramid. They are comprised of a larger molecular structure, which means that they're going to linger for a long time. These are the notes in perfumery that we call fixatives. These are the notes that prolong the duration or the life, the longevity of the fragrance. So this one, Vanille Benjoin, vanilla is a base note, benzoin is a base note. Benzoin is a resin. It kind of has like a smoky overtone with a touch of vanilla. Some people go as far as saying that it smells medicinal. I do quite agree with that, but there are several varieties of benzoin. And this fragrance also contains several varieties of vanilla as well. There are some synthetics in here like ambroxan. So we're going to be taking a closer look at that at length, I promise you, in the very near future of this review. But let's go ahead and start things off with a very close look at the gorgeous, gorgeous presentation. So when you purchase this fragrance, it comes in this really nice box. When you take the contents out, you'll see that it has this silk protective layer on top with the brand's name Affinessence right on there. When you open up the coffret, it reveals the bottle on the inside as well as a pouch that you can actually use to travel with the bottle. The bottle has this dark golden juice on the inside. The logo of the brand is etched into the cap. The cap does not click into place, so don't pick this one up from the cap. The distribution on the atomizer is incredibly wide. Let's continue with the smell. So as soon as this fragrance opens up, you are inevitably and undoubtedly going to get the two notes after which this fragrance is named. So basically vanilla and benzoin. Now, there are two types of vanilla utilized in this composition. So you have Madagascan vanilla and then you have Tahitian vanilla, and both of them are vanilla absolutes. So you're basically smelling a vanilla note in its totality, in its absolute form. And it comes across very rich, very luscious, very decadent, gourmand leaning for sure. But I do think that there are some elements in here that kind of take it away from the gourmand genre just slightly. So you do have cedarwood in here. The cedarwood is two types of cedarwood as well. There's Chinese cedar and there's Moroccan cedar. I know some varieties can come across a bit smooth and creamy. Some can come across a little bit peppery. I think you get both facets in this one, but the presence of the cedar does not overshadow or override the presence of the vanilla, but also the benzoin that's used in here as well. You can definitely tell that there's benzoin in here because it kind of like creates this viscous olfactory component to the fragrance where you smell it and it smells very rich, very thick, very syrupy almost. Although it doesn't feel sticky on skin, I know that there are some fragrances out there like New Harlem by Bond No. 9 that kind of give off that vibe where they smell kind of sticky and resinous and very dense in their olfactory approach. This one, on the other hand, has a certain wispiness about it in terms of the scent presence, not necessarily in terms of the projection, the performance, the longevity, because this one will linger on your skin, and that's sort of something that you can come to expect with a fragrance that is made predominantly of base notes, and there's a lot of hardiness in the base of this one as well. So I basically sprayed this one on the scent strip right now, and as I'm talking, I'm getting whiffs of it left and right. There isn't any citrus in here. There isn't anything floral as far as my nose can perceive. Nothing that would possibly compromise its ability to retain its uniformity in terms of the scent development or the scent progression. And even just smelling it right now, I did spray it maybe about an hour and a half ago. It smells exactly the same as when I initially applied it. And what I like the most about this one is that the marriage of the vanilla and the benzoin kind of creates this pseudo sweet vibe. I mean, the sweetness is real, obviously, and it's coming from the vanilla, but it gives the benzoin the impression of being sweeter than it actually is, and I really, really, really enjoy that about this fragrance. I do think that this house has some knockout fragrances, some winners. They've also been gracious enough to not just gift me this bottle, but also to gift me a sample of every other fragrance from their line. Their leather-based offering is amazing. Their iris-based offering is amazing. I personally think I like the leather-based offering a little bit more. I feel like it lasts a little bit longer on my skin, better performance from it as well. And one thing that I do have to cover, what you can typically expect is that when you have a fragrance that is so heavy on the base notes, the projection won't be as loud, but the longevity will definitely be there. So even though this isn't going to pop off and radiate off your skin the same way that a citrus-based concoction will, this one will certainly last for 8, 9, 10 hours, depending on the concentration of the raw materials, and you are looking at a very high concentration in this one as well. I like how it's not an overly gourmand vanilla. So when you're thinking of like Guerlain Spiritu Double Vanille, that one is a very gourmand vanilla. Even Serge Lutens Un Bois Vanille is kind of within the same family, but I feel like that one leans a little bit more sweet. This one having the ambroxan, having the tonka bean, providing that creaminess underneath it all, which just sort of accents the cedarwood notes that are used in here. In its totality, it's a beautifully carved, beautifully composed, beautifully and very it's done in a very sort of elevated and pronounced way, utilizing notes that don't necessarily give that attack or that sharp approach to them, but the way that it is pieced here, being as though those notes are the ones being spotlighted, I just kudos to the brand for being able to put together something really wonderful such as this fragrance. So I'm happy that I was able to possibly turn some people onto this one. Definitely sample if you can. I know with the high price tag that is typically associated with a lot of fragrances, I could never condone blind buying. Not once on my channel in the over 1,000 videos that I've done have I ever recommended blind buying. So definitely see if you can get a sample of this one. I think it would befit you. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, this truly is a unique fragrance. I mean, I was thinking about it, I mulled it over in my mind, and I don't think there's quite another fragrance that I could compare this one to. Perhaps the spiciness that's in there a little bit kind of gives off like an almondy vibe. And so maybe that might warrant a comparison to like Givenchy's Pie, because that one is also quite vanillic and sweet and resinous. And maybe there's something ethereal about it, minus the iris, that would possibly put me in the mindset of like a Dior's Bois d'Argent from the Maison Dior collection. But other than that, I do find this to be a totally unique scent, and I love the smell that this one gives off. I just do think that this one would work so much better in the fall season, and so this is probably not one that I'll be wearing for the next 5 to 6 months, but once fall rolls back around, I'm definitely going to pull this one out. In terms of its longevity, you're going to get about 9 to 10 hours, incredible longevity. Projection is quiet. It's very quiet. So it's going to sit closer to your skin. You're not going to get a loud projection. Possibly for like the first half hour to an hour is when it's going to be, very noticeable. But it's not quite a loud screamer like Dior Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel or anything that contains an abundance of citrus in it, because, as I mentioned earlier, this one has no top notes, nor does it have any mid notes. In terms of its versatility, I do think it's incredibly versatile. Men and women can wear this one all seasons, although I do think it leans a little bit closer to the fall season, just because the ingredients utilized therein kind of put me in the mindset of fall. The sweeter notes, the more resinous notes. The only thing is I don't think I would wear this one casually, and I say that due to the price tag that's associated with it. In terms of the presentation, this is one of the best presentations in the game. I do think it's up there with By Kilian and Kajal and some of the other like really pronounced attention to detail sort of presentations from various niche houses. And this is definitely among the best. If I were to make a top 10 best presentations video, if you would like to see that, leave a comment down below. But if I were to make a top 10 best presentations in niche perfumery video, this would definitely be in the top 5. Like 100% hands down. So my final verdict on this one is I love this scent. It's one of my favorite fragrances ever. I am so happy to be a proud owner of this fragrance, and I do want to give a very sincere thank you to the brand Affinessence for providing me with this fragrance for review, but also really just gifting this fragrance to me. They didn't ask for a review, but I'm happy to provide one as well. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was my review of Vanille Benjoin by Affinessence. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, if you have any experience with any fragrance from this brand, I would love to know what you think. Leave a comment down below. I always love starting the discussion. Also, if you are new to this channel and you did take something of value from this video, I would really love your subscription. All you have to do is click that red subscribe button in the corner. And this way, whenever I do upload future fragrance related content, whether that be a review, a top 10, a giveaway, anything, it will get delivered straight to your feed. You never have to worry about missing any of my future uploads or having to search up my name or anything like that. Thanks again for tuning in. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.